In worlds filled with characters lusting for power, few are as treacherous as Starscream. Whether it's the god of mischief Loki looking to take over the throne of Asgard, Francis Underwood plotting his way to the presidency, or Littlefinger's dealings in King's Landing, sometimes a villain's calculating nature is their most dangerous attribute. In a galaxy where the eternal struggle between Autobots and Decepticons rages on, there lurks a saboteur whose thirst for power and treachery is immeasurable. Today we'll dive into a history of a character whose ambitions know no bounds. This is the dark side of Transformers, the story of Starscream. Making his debut on television screens in the first episode of Transformers Generation 1 in 1984, and in comic books a few months prior, Starscream is one of the most opportunistic and cunning members of the Decepticons. Originally a scientist exploring other worlds until a fateful storm on ancient Earth would separate him and his lab partner Skyfire, Starscream would abandon his life in the laboratory and instead focus on the Decepticon cause and bolstering his rank as a soldier. The ever-ambitious Starscream would work his way to second in command of the Decepticons. This journey from scientist to soldier is marked by a drastic change in ambition and drive. Crash landing on Earth and awoken 4 million years later, Starscream would break his sleep cycle with his comrades, who would be the only Cybertronians coherent on Earth, until a careless decision by the Seeker leader to fire wildly at the dormant Autobots would accidentally reawaken them and reignite the Great War. These opening moments set the tone for Starscream's character in the Generation 1 series. He's unruly and chaotic, unconcerned with the consequences of his decisions. Yet, underlying these decisions, there's a thirst for power, a cunning intelligence blended with arrogance that becomes more apparent as he vies for leadership of the Decepticons. In the arc, The Ultimate Doom, and following in Countdown to Extinction, Starscream's ambition is on full display. While Megatron's plan to siphon energy generated from Cybertron entering Earth's orbit would end with his apparent demise, Starscream would take the opportunity to kidnap Dr. Arkeville. While his initial attempt to use neural energy would fail miserably, his next attempt would have some truly devastating consequences. Using Arkeville's exponential generator as a bomb to destroy the Earth and generate a ton of energy, he planned to use said energy to reinvigorate Cybertron, taking over the planet as its new leader, with Megatron assumed deactivated. While he would fail, this shows a new depth to Starscream, willing to sacrifice entire worlds for his ambitions. But this would not be the last attempt. The next would be during the events of a Decepticon raider at King Arthur's court. Here, Starscream would travel back in time with fellow Decepticons, take control of a castle and an army, kidnap, yet again, a neighboring ruler's daughter, until losing to the Autobots. Another attempt would follow when he would be teamed up with and then be subsequently betrayed by Astro Train and Blitzwing, when the triple change would freeze him and Megatron to take control of the Decepticons. Although the victim of a double cross, this would be one of several times when Starscream would rely on co-conspirators with his ambitions, while he would work alongside others like Soundwave as they brainwashed humans in New York, or the Seekers as they did battle with the aerial bots. The most notable collaborators of Starscream would be those that he created when he formed his brigade. Exiled by Megatron for attempting another coup, Starscream would create the Combaticons after retrieving their personality components to form his own army, and inadvertently introduce them in their combined form as Bruticus Decepticon ranks. This yet again shows Starscream's attempt to use anyone or anything to further his goals. It shows an inherent flaw in Decepticon leadership, Megatron's inability to keep his followers under control. Time and again, Starscream aims to destroy Megatron to take control, yet Megatron keeps his would-be usurper under thumb, while Megatron would use bodily harm and exile to threaten Starscream. Nothing would truly dissuade him from his goals, and this understanding of Megatron's weak discipline for insubordination would lead to Starscream's short-lived coronation. With the events of 1986's The Transformers the movie, everything would change. The film itself would have a much darker tone than the Saturday morning cartoon, and lead to the demise of several fan-favorite characters to make way for new ones. With Megatron mortally wounded while ending Optimus Prime, Starscream would seize the opportunity to remove Megatron from his path to leadership, while Megatron will be reformatted to Galvatron by Unicron. Starscream will organize a coronation ceremony to celebrate his new regime, an event marked by pomp and circumstance. With trumpets sounding and decorations abound, his celebration would be cut short. Galvatron would crash the event and leave nothing left to Starscream, save for his crown and a pile of ash. But Starscream's story wouldn't end here. With his indestructible spark, he would become a ghost, possessing Cyclonus to remove Galvatron from Decepticon command, conspiring with the Chaosbringer to be granted a new body, and even appearing in Beast Wars to possess Waspinator, attacking Maximo and Predacon alike. Starscream throughout the original series will be marred with highs and lows. He's a character driven by unwavering ambition, whose journey is marked by constant defeat, setting the stage for his eventual yet brief term as leader, but overshadowed by his own flair for the dramatic. While his G1 characterization would fall short of grasping absolute power, his Marvel Comics version would become one of the most powerful. From the screens of the G1 series to the panels of Marvel Comics, Starscream undergoes a transformation that redefines his character. While the animated series portrayed him as impulsive and often brazen in his ambition, the Marvel Comics narrative presents a Starscream who's not just opportunistic, but deeply strategic, marking a significant evolution in his portrayal as he becomes the self-proclaimed leader killer. Originally, Starscream is seen as brash, his schemes against Megatron more reactionary than planned. However, in the comics, his ploys take a more calculated form. Early issues of the series show a Starscream who is patient, waiting for the right moment to strike. As we dive deeper into the Marvel Comics, Starscream's ambitions will become more pronounced. His actions were consequential. His quest for power is a constant theme, driving him to undertake a risk that would be unthinkable in the animated series. Starscream's strategic prowess in the Marvel Comics culminates in the Underbase saga, a storyline that stands testament to his pursuit of power. This saga, sprawling across multiple issues, showcases Starscream at the peak of his manipulative and strategic capabilities, marking a pivotal moment in his character arc. In his epic narrative, the Underbase, an ancient Cybertronian artifact of immense power, becomes the focus of Starscream's ambitions. His quest for the Underbase is a masterclass in manipulation and strategy. He deftly plays Autobots and Decepticons against each other, maneuvering himself into a position where he can seize the Underbase's power. This saga reaches its climax when Starscream successfully absorbs the Underbase's energy, transforming him into a being of unimaginable power. With the might of the Underbase at his command, Starscream becomes a force of destruction. His newfound power allows him to decimate both Autobot and Decepticon forces with ease, and setting his sights on the destruction of various large cities on Earth. In issues like Dark Star, his ambitions lead to catastrophic battles, showcasing the devastating consequences of his unbridled ambition. Starscream, now more powerful than ever, seems invincible, but his triumph is short-lived. The aftermath of the Underbase saga is a stark reminder of the perils of absolute power. Starscream's moment of glory rapidly unravels as he's overwhelmed by the Underbase's energy. His downfall is dramatic as his rise, an event that truly illustrates that absolute power corrupts absolutely. The saga concludes Starscream's defeat, his body left lifeless, a victim of his own insatiable lust for power. Post-Underbase, Starscream's journey takes on a new dimension. His resurrection and subsequent roles in later comics show a character who, even though has failed, is undeterred in his ambitions. His return to the Decepticon fold and subsequent plots underscore a key aspect of his character. Starscream is a survivor, always scheming, always adapting. Starscream's journey from a strategic opportunist to a power-hungry leader killer and beyond shows a compelling narrative of ambition and the pitfalls of power. In the vast history of the Transformers multiverse, Starscream stands as the embodiment of megalomania, yet his character morphs and evolves across timelines and universes, from his classic betrayal in G1 to the nuanced layers added in later series. Each incarnation adds a unique aspect for his ceaseless quest for power. In the universe of the Unicron Trilogy, and specifically Transformers Armada, Starscream's journey takes an intriguing turn, deviating significantly from his original portrayals. This series reimagines him not merely as a schemer, but as a character with a profound sense of honor and internal conflict. In Armada, particularly in episodes like Link Up and Crisis, Starscream finds himself questioning his allegiances to the Decepticon cause. His interactions with the Autobots, and especially with the human characters, makes him question his loyalties to the Decepticons. A defining moment for Starscream occurs during Rebellion. Here, Starscream openly challenges Megatron's ruthless tactics, showcasing a growing rift between his own sense of honor and the Decepticon ethos. This internal battle culminates in Cramp, where Starscream makes the ultimate sacrifice. His decision to offer his own life is a means to unite the Decepticons and the Autobots, marking a significant change from his classic self-serving nature, offering a glimpse into a Starscream torn between power and principles. With the continuation of the Unicron trilogy, with the next chapter being Transformers Energon, we also get to see the next chapter of Starscream's life, following resurrection by Alpha Q and the loss of his memory. Now haunted by a situation and struggling with his new identity, this will culminate in his loyalty to Galvatron and another sacrifice, but this time not as a noble act, but as a sycophant. In the final installment of the Unicron trilogy and Transformers Cybertron, we also get to see a new and intriguing version of Starscream. This series presents him as a formidable force, combining his traditional cunning with a newfound sense of ambition and power. Starscream in Cybertron is more than just a schemer. He's a Decepticon with grand aspirations, seeking power on a cosmic scale. One of the most defining arcs for Starscream is his quest for the Cyber Keys. In various episodes across the series, he cunningly maneuvers himself into a position of significant power. Gaining control of these ancient artifacts, his ambitions are clear, to not just rule Cybertron, but the universe at large. Starscream's character is portrayed again with a depth that encompasses his traditional treachery and a desire for greater power. Episodes such as Savage reveal his strategic mind and leadership abilities, showing he's not just a mere second in command. As the trilogy marches to its conclusion, Starscream's ambitions see him ascending to new heights, becoming a massive threat to both Autobots and Decepticons. However, yet again, this power is short-lived and quickly fades. Starscream's downfall is a result of his overreaching ambition. It's a recurring theme across his many incarnations. His pursuit of power is his own undoing. Starscream's journey in the Unicron trilogy is yet another fascinating chapter in his saga. This series adds another layer to his character, depicting him not as just ambitious, but also immensely powerful and dangerously overconfident, reminiscent of his Marvel Comics version. His development, from the noble warrior battling against Megatron's tyranny, to a ghost devoid of his memory, to a power-hungry madman, show what Starscream could be in most worlds, and more often what he becomes. The idea of Starscream becoming power-hungry is yet again seen in Transformers Animated. Here, Starscream's story unfolds with different layers, diverging from his typical portrayals. Starscream is introduced in Transformers Animated as a character driven by familiar ambitions. In the pilot episode, Transform and Roll Out, his impulsive nature and eagerness to challenge Megatron's leadership are quickly established as Starscream sabotages Megatron with a shatter bomb, laying the groundwork for his complex journey as his story becomes intertwined with the Allspark and its power. The history between Megatron and Starscream in Animated is one marked by constant power struggles. Starscream's attempts to overthrow Megatron, depicted in episodes like Megatron Rising, highlight a relationship consistently in flux, with the two working together when necessary, and plotting against one another at other times. A significant plotline unfolds with Megatron's ambitious project of creating Omega Supreme clones, as seen in episodes like Endgame. Starscream's role in sabotaging these clones beyond the grave is a testament to his strategic mind and his ability to exploit opportunities. This act, while driven by his typical treachery, also showcases Starscream's learning and adaptation abilities, using Megatron's plans to his advantage. While Animated took a different approach to his treachery, it also took a different approach to Starscream's issues, represented by the creation of his clones in A Bridge Too Close. We witness Starscream confronting his faults, cowardice, sycophancy, deceit, embodied in his clones. This moment serves as a unique form of self-reflection, forcing Starscream to face his own flaws directly, albeit in his typically over-the-top manner. Transformers Animated serves as a great look into the mind of Starscream. Yet, as we move from this vibrant world to a much darker universe in Transformers Prime, we prepare to dive into another chapter of Starscream's saga. Prime presents us Starscream and his ever-present lust for power, and the lines between loyalty and betrayal are much more blurred. As we dive into the shadowy realm of Transformers Prime, we encounter a Starscream who embodies the essence of ruthless ambition. This series presents him not just as a schemer, but as a Decepticon who is dangerously intelligent and relentlessly seeks power at any cost. In his introduction in Transformers Prime, Starscream is the acting leader of the Decepticons, while Megatron hunts for an army. Yet, with his newfound leadership, his loyalty is as fickle as ever. Early episodes like Masters and Students showcase his trademark cunning, coupled with a more sinister edge, ripping a piece of dark energon out of Megatron following a space bridge explosion, reducing his former leader to a catatonic state. His ambitions are clear: to ascend the Decepticon leadership and stay there no matter the cost. Starscream's journey takes a pivotal turn with Megatron's temporary absence. Episodes like Out of His Mind and Sick Mind see him embarking on a solo quest, attempting to forge alliances with Knockout and Soundwave, which would allow him to permanently defeat Megatron, while Megatron would reawaken and punish the former Energon Seeker captain. It would be one of many challenges that Starscream would face. His pursuit of power leads to alliances with a slew of characters, from human villains to other Cybertronians to even the Autobots. Each encounter, especially his complex relationship with Arachnid, forces Starscream to constantly reassess and adapt his strategies for survival and dominance. Transformers Prime reveals a Starscream who is more than just a mere traitor. He's a survivor, a tactician that understands the inner workings of friends and foe alike, evolving from a mere opportunist to a Decepticon who truly understands the cost of power. As Starscream's journey in Transformers Prime concludes, we witness a character who has crossed numerous obstacles, each shaping his relentless pursuit of his own goals, no matter what stood in his way. While the Prime universe would take on a darker tone, Transformers Cyberverse will be more vibrant, yet still explore Starscream's insatiable ambition. In Cyberverse, his quest for power continues, adding another layer to this complex character in his iconic saga. In Transformers Cyberverse, Starscream sees himself taking another dark descent, following his betrayal of Megatron, a move characteristic of his perpetual quest for dominance. Starscream faces severe repercussions, leaving him for dead and setting him on a path of madness, which would find him attempting to eradicate all Cybertronians, returning them to the Allspark. This descent into insanity sets the stage for him becoming one of the quintessence judges. In the gripping end of the universe arc, Starscream sacrifices his former friends and foes to ensure his safety, aligning himself with these ancient, dangerous beings. This alliance marks a significant shift in his journey, as he gains unprecedented power, embodying a role that transcends his previous ambitions. Starscream's time as a quintessence judge particularly in the End of the Universe Part 4, showcases his newfound authority and the strength he now possesses, echoing the Marvel Comics underbase-powered Starscream, the ultimate Starscream powered by the Enigma of Combination in the Prime Wars trilogy, and Starscream in Transformers Cyberverse. His manipulation of events and the judgment he looks to pass yet again shows the fatal combination that his newfound madness and ingrained lust of power takes on himself and the universe at large, parallel to his ascent to near absolute power in Cyberverse. The Prime Wars trilogy presents a Starscream as equally ambitious but different in his own right. Here, he masterfully plays the political game, deceiving key figures like Rodimus Prime and the Mistress of Flame. In Combiner Wars, Starscream's cunning is on full display. He expertly orchestrates events, convincing the Cybertronian Council of his intentions, while secretly working towards his own plans. Episodes like the Council highlight his ability to manipulate his peers, turning the tides in his favor through a combination of deceit and political savvy. Starscream's ultimate plan in the Prime Wars trilogy involves the Enigma of Combination. His calculated moves, seen in episodes like Homecoming, are driven by a desire to gain immense power. The Prime Wars trilogy gives us a Starscream who is more than just a military strategist, and who has now evolved to a political schemer, capable of influencing the highest levels of Cybertron government. Through Cyberverse and the Prime Wars trilogy, Starscream emerges as a multifaceted character, constantly adapting and evolving. His journey from insanity to a position of power, and his manipulations in the political arena, set the stage for his portrayal in the IDW comics. There, we see a Starscream who has learned from his past, wielding power with a complexity that underscores his enduring legacy in the Transformers universe. Starscream's tale begins with his cult construction. Before the war, Starscream's ambitions led him to the political sphere. As a senator, depicted in Starscream the movie, he was not known for his integrity, but for his decadent and self-serving nature. His time in the Senate was marked by manipulation and personal gain, embezzling funds and cheating his constituents, foreshadowing his later tactics in the Decepticon ranks, going from a corrupt senator to a high-ranking Decepticon, taking his unethical approach to life, using his strategic mind through the use of Thundercracker and Skywarp as body doubles to confuse his enemies, and prowess in aerial combat led him to second in command of the Decepticons. Yet, he aspired for more. The events of All Hail Megatron mark a pivotal moment for Starscream. With Megatron incapacitated, Starscream seizes command of the Decepticons, showing his leadership skills. However, his reign is fraught with challenges, revealing both his tactical abilities and his inherent shortcomings as a leader, even though he had been outfitted with the matrix of leadership. Post-war, Starscream finds a new battlefield in politics. His ascent to power is a tale of political maneuvering. A defining moment is his shocking assassination of Metalhawk, a calculated move to secure his position as the leader of Cybertron, taking out the competition, revealing the lengths he will go to gain power. But the reign of Starscream would not be without issue. Much like his Decepticon leadership and Megatron's absence, Starscream would face various issues during his rule, from those spurred on by Shockwave during Dark Cybertron, and those caused by the creation of the Council of Worlds. Both would make Starscream question his abilities as leader. This self-reflection is seldom seen in the Seeker, and this doubt would grant him a moment of clarity, needed to recount all of his illegal and unethical decisions to all of Cybertron, removing himself from his leadership position and taking a life sentence for his crimes. This moment of self-reflection would give Starscream the opportunity to be truly a leader of Cybertron, but not by lying or cheating, but through self-sacrifice. With Shockwave returning and Unicron set to devour all of existence, Starscream's journey reaches an unexpected turn. In a selfless act, he sacrifices himself to activate the talisman and stop Unicron, a decision that redeems many of his past transgressions, even though the history books were not reflected as such. This final act acts as a beautiful final evolution for Starscream, from a schemer to an opportunist to a hero, albeit a flawed one. Starscream in IDW's continuity is a story of absolution, from a coldly constructed Cybertronian to a failed leader of both his faction and his world, to a hero that few would recognize. His journey is one of ambition, manipulation, realization, and redemption. From his original appearance in 1984 in Transformers Generation 1 in the Marvel Comics series, to feature film appearances in the Michael Bay-verse and beyond, Starscream has become a symbol of unbridled ambition for the past 40 years. As we close this chapter, more adventure awaits Starscream, especially with the ongoing Earthspark series in Skybound Entertainment's Energon universe, where his legacy would undoubtedly continue to evolve. With all that being said, what's your favorite version of Starscream? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to thank each and every one of you for checking out the video. If you want to learn more about the dark side of Transformers lore, check out our playlist below for other episodes of the Dark Side of Transformers. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay handsome.